Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of the Infinite Mosaic. Infinite Mosaic is a podcast portraying beautiful, wonderful Pacific icon, and they are just intentional to our team. And today, we do have a kind of an icon, I would say. I know it's a bit too shy, but it's actually wonderful. Michael Burgess. Welcome to our show.
Icon, oh my lord, I am much too. I haven't even got to that stage yet. Not that those kind of what we
I'm so happy and even more honored to have you here today. Really grateful. Thank you so much for doing this. How was the experience for you? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Creative Resilience International is to give voice, to spotlight, create opportunities, create an environment by which, um, you know, people can come together with shared sense of values and community. And I don't compromise when it comes to those things, not at all. And so it is for me, the charity element is not a one-sided thing where Creative Resilience International is giving per se. It's where it's a community coming together to show how we can support each other. Does that make sense? And
It
we
does.
aim, and with giving opportunities to some less fortunate, they then are empowered to be able to say, you know what, now that I have it, I can also give back.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
really important.
It is.
And even through that collaborative element of bringing various different talents together, various creatives together, that's a way of that's another way of giving back. So it's charity in even creative in the way that we embody the traditional way of
Yeah.
being charitable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being much more of a connector, facilitator, etc.
Nice. No, that's a beautiful idea. I really like that.
Thank you.
I really like it. Do some work to give more to people that can so spread the love and the words. That's absolutely fantastic.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Even what we're doing in Kenya and Ghana, as I said, having access means that there's some incredible people and platforms that definitely identify with the agency of of um, of of needing to give back and understanding that certain people need to be involved in the conversation,
See.
and therefore, with the opportunities that they are able to offer, those people are then able to be elevated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be the true beacons for their communities itself. That's really important. So even places like Ghana and Kenya, the partnerships that we have helps to create this sort of leverage for these creatives that to get their projects off the ground and have this sort of amplification and be real beacons of change. So that's another element that's really important to us. So where we connect them not just with the platform, but some with other platforms, but the sort of partnerships, lucrative partnerships that will help them, that will provide the funding, that will provide the media coverage, that will provide the exposure, that would provide this sort of springboard to get their projects off the ground. So it's not dependent only on Creative Resilience International at all. It's the partnerships that we have that make it really happen. Really.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Nice. And what would you say is your most memorable charity work so far?
Oh my gosh, that's a very good question and a very difficult one, because honestly, the work that we do, every project is so very important
I imagine.
and requires the same amount of commitment and focus. Do you know what I mean? It's for me, I'm like my mother and my father in many ways, that I only give 100%. I don't know how to give anything less than that. And I think particularly because the work, Creative Resilience International is a social enterprise. It means that that social element of giving back, reinvesting into the community, means that there is an expectation that when you present yourself as a social enterprise,
Yeah.
that that the community is expecting that nothing less than 100%
Absolutely.
in what you've promised you will do,
True. Very
and
true.
that's very important to me. So, in terms of the most memorable project, my gosh, that's a tough one. There've been some, all of them have been very special. All of them have. I think, we've had the wonderful honor to co-produce and curate for 2 Meltdown Festival for South Bank Center.
Yeah.
The South Bank Center has a spring into summer, a summer festival called Meltdown. And the first one we did was the Grace Jones. Was that the Grace Jones Meltdown? The Grace Jones Meltdown Festival for South Bank Center.
Wow.
And the other one was the Shaka Khan.
Oh, fantastic.
Hold on, wait.
That's
Let me make sure I
okay.
don't confuse. No, not Shaka Khan. This one was not Shaka Khan. This was the planet. This was all about the climate. This was one
Okay.
that was focused very much on the climate. So Shaka Khan was this year. My apologies. But we did the Grace Jones, and so what we were focusing on, the element that we were responsible for was the fashion element, and be able to bring people into the conversation, created this sort of immersive experience whereby people, the audience was able to not just celebrate this incredible legacy of Grace Jones, but we were able to create an experience by which they were able to be part of supporting these amazing creatives, fashion designers, and from various different backgrounds, who have been committed to being as avant-garde as Grace Jones. And
Gosh.
we had this was on the River Terrace in front of the Royal Festival Hall, and we had the fashion designers range from very established household names to emerging talents, such as the Adebayo Jones, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we had this mixture of incredible designers who have the shared sense of community, shared sense of understanding that even though the budget oftentimes is not as big to really compensate them for for their usual fee, they understand that this is about the community, and it needs to be all hands on deck to ensure that the voices and the conversations are being done correctly and presented correctly. Absolutely. And then, of course, the last one we did, which was last year, for the Planet Festival on climate activism. That was a much bigger one. And Vivian, yourself, you participated in that.
Indeed.
You did. Fierce model. I think, does your audience know that you're also an amazing model?
And they're discovering right now, but obviously some of my friends and some that knows me, yes, they do
You're
know.
amazing. You're absolutely
Thank
incredible.
you.
You are the consummate professional. In addition to being beautiful, in addition to being an amazing storyteller, you are amazing. And so to have you on board, of course, was hugely important. Especially as I said, that creative resilience give voice to those who are underrepresented, and oftentimes you work with emerging talent, and you being a seasoned, even though I know you mentioned off camera that it is something that you have it hasn't been a long sort of trajectory for you. You know what
That's
I mean?
correct.
But honestly, how you present yourself, you are a supermodel. It is a natural, darling. That's just what it is. And so with that, we were able, with last year, we had panel discussions, we had art installations, we had workshops, we had fashion show. Every single element was curated.
Everything.
It was incredible, wasn't it?
It was.
Just incredible. And so that was one of those amazing projects that we got to do that we look forward to doing more with the South Bank Centre. Because again, the South Bank Centre is, it's here in London, it's one of those highly respected public spaces that gives voice to, and to many people. And we're so thrilled that we got to be part of that. So thrilled. It's one of those very special moments. But as I said, all the projects have been special.
That's very true.
Yes.
You can't prejudice one to another. They're all special in their own ways.
Yes.
Very true.
Yes.
Very true. And you are a personality to me that is touching everything about art. It can be jewelry, it can be obviously fashion. And how did this start actually for you to involve every single bit?
Oh, by the way, your question is very good.
Thank you very much.
For me, because what we do is about representation, and I have to be, hands-on in the whole process because there's an expectation. If I've been entrusted to ensure that the creative or the project is done in the best light possible, then I have to learn new things. And of course, as I meet new creatives who are doing amazing things, I'm learning so much. And with the work that I do, I've curated and produced and managed and researched and done all these things for so many different projects, which has just been amazing, so that when I have to, not only do I have to represent them in delivery of the project, but even before the whole designing and the whole developing the concept of these things, before I then source the talent who's going to be part of that. True. I then have to be able to have those discussions and being able to appear that I know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? So, so whether it being I wouldn't say that I'm an artist. I certainly wouldn't say I'm a fashion designer or any of those things. But a curator and learning how to do that really well and being a connector, I do those very well. I do them very, very well. And so curating and concept development, business development, those things are I'm passionate about those things. But all of that is led by the fact that I'm very passionate about ensuring that the creatives are represented in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to make sure that when it goes public, they can look back and be very proud and know that, guess what? Michael has been behind and I have a big support of Michael. And it's not just it doesn't stop once the project has been delivered. It continues. It's a family.
And I think that's also even more important.
Yes.
It's more important to obviously share your work and the passion of your work and just carry around and spread it.
Yes. No, that's really important because it's, the messaging, but also the, what creative resilience is and stands for is a community. And if we don't, if one of the central and foundation is not cultivating the community, then we fall short. It doesn't exist.
Very true.
Do you know what I mean?
Indeed.
To be resilient is not an individual thing. It's a burden that's it's a the process is very community. To know that you have people there who believe in you and support you and gives you the reminders that that what you have is valuable. It's a community thing. Yes. And resilience, creative resilience, international resilience is a big part of that.
And long live Creative Reason International.
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, I would like you to tell us more about your experience with Prince William during the BAFTAs, and that was not too long ago, if I remember well.
Oh my gosh. So this is in my capacity as head of events programming for the Royal African Society.
Right.
And the BAFTA event, which I, being in my role, I was able to co-produce with the learning team at BAFTA, because Prince William is the president of BAFTA, and he's the patron of the Royal African Society.
I see.
And he was the one who came up with the idea of bringing these two amazing entities together to because of course his schedule is so packed, and so but this was during the time that we had the Royal African Society was about to deliver Film Africa, which is the largest film festival in Europe for filmmakers of African heritage. And the BAFTA, being film, do you know what I mean? Had with the support of Prince William, had created this amazing initiative to provide funding, some small funding opportunities for people who aspire to be filmmakers or working within the film industry. And so whether being a filmmaker, a director, or working behind the scenes as in production, etc. And so this was an opportunity, because of his tight schedule, suggested why don't we bring both together in supporting Film Africa, but also is the perfect alignment with this initiative, whereby these aspiring film creatives would have an opportunity to show how both organizations support their growth and cultivation. And so that's what we did. And so I had the opportunity to be very much hands-on in that whole process. And this was in October. I think it was the 9th of October, something like that. So, but this was my second time, my third time meeting Prince William, and yes, and he's an incredible gentleman who is very passionate about Africa, very passionate about the creative industry, and very down to earth. So
he looks like he is.
He is. He really is. He very much is. And people, when I've shared this on my social media in terms of the images of us, and people are just like, oh my gosh, you met Prince William. But for me, one, it's an honor to meet him also, but for me, it's about the work, how he supports the work, that needs to be done in these communities. That's what's most important.
Yeah.
My private life is my private life. His private life is his private life.
Of course.
Which means so there's no sort of there is no bearing on my private life. So for me, it's about the work. And if I'm out there being, a real agent of change and saying that, championing everything that has to do with inclusivity and diversity, then the engagement that I have with anybody of such prestige has to be aligned with the work. Otherwise,
what's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
Spending time with them would take away from the work that needs to be done. And
Exactly.
I'm not, so it has to all be worth it. So that's the
Quite an experience.
yes, with BAFTA and Prince William. Yes, that's
Very
it.
nice.
A very proud moment there too. Yes.
And I think you should. Definitely.
Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
you. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you must be so busy then with your actual work and your other passion on the side. How do you actually schedule yourself?
Oh goodness. You know what? I somehow do. I think sometimes, of course, there are moments where it gets very, very hectic.
Yeah.
And while I love working, I'm also very much a family person. And when I say family, that encapsulate both my my blood family, my biological family, and also my friends and loved ones who are very much
course.
part of that network that helps to keep me grounded and brings me joy and a great escape for me.
Nice.
So, but I make it happen. I make it happen. So whether it be sending a text message or video call, or this is one of the reasons why I have social media, honestly,
That's
so
true.
that they can be in the loop of what's happening in my life, and and the same for me being in theirs. That's the only reason why. Um, but and that's why I show videos and photographs of stuff that I'm doing. So that's how it is. I mean, yeah. But I make it happen. I mean, I always believe that if you really want something to happen, you'll make it happen. Does it mean that you won't be sleep deprived sometimes? That does happen too. And that has happened for me. But
It
this
is
is,
what it
it's
is.
around, this is Christmas time. And one of my favorite things to do around this time of the year is to switch off.
And I think everyone needs at the minute to switch off for
Exactly.
a little while.
Yes. that's just it. Yes.
That's true.
So that's how I kind of make it happen.
Very good. Organize yourself perfectly.
I try to. I don't know. You know what? I'll tell you, look, it does mean sometimes that some things have to be sacrificed sometimes, indeed, in terms of when you're so busy. Whether it being the amount of time that you have to spend with a person, whether it being my personal life, and whether it being sometimes just being able to hold certain schedules, like you'd want to be somewhere, but sometimes you'll have to then make change. You have to prioritize, and therefore sometimes there's some projects that you want to do now that you're not able to do, or some place you'd like to be at where you have to say, I'm so sorry, but I hope you understand, but I have to cancel this appointment. And sometimes it means not necessarily arriving on time, even though I try to, but all those things have to be considered. But yes, that's how it is. You have to kind of manage somehow.
You have to do what you got to do.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And I believe you had a cinematographic experience. If I was with Wicked, if I don't make mistake.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I want to know, and I'm sure the audience wants to know more about it.
Yeah, so yes, I appear in Wicked. It's not no major role at all. I'm just one of the, but I'm in Wicked, and it's a really, it's a great honor also. I appear as a dancer in Emerald City.
Look at you.
Yes, and my very dear friend Jonathan Bishop, who I also did another movie with, called what was that movie called? I think it's called Jump. So John did this short film that was and so we did this amazing work together. We actually did Lion King together, and he was young Simba in the Lion King, the musical here in the West End at the Lyceum Theatre. That's how we met.
Okay.
And so he was working on this in the movie, and they needed some dancers, and so he spoke to the casting director, and said, look, there's this amazing dancer who does all these incredible things, and he's talking about me, and he said, and they said, look, well, they reached out to me, and I said I would love to do it, but this is going back to your previous question.
Yes.
I am so busy. I don't think I'll have time, and so they sent the schedule of what would be needed, and I said, well, it's definitely conflicting already with something as prior commitment. And they came back and they said, no, Michael, we'll wait for you. We want this to happen.
Oh, wow.
I'm just someone just dancing up a storm at the thing, okay? But they made, and it had a wonderful experience, and it paid very well.
That's great.
It did pay very well. And this was a year ago now. And so the movie came out just a few weeks ago here. And part one of it, and part two is coming out next year. So that's how that came to be part of Wicked, the movie. Yes.
And I would say that's wicked.
I know, it's incredible. Honestly, when I shared it, because we weren't able to take any of our mobile phones on set to capture any content at all.
Yeah.
But when you're at in the relaxing in the other kind of communal areas, and where there's craft service, etc. People have their phones out, and of course we're advised not to share any images from there.
Yeah.
But darling, once I knew the movie was coming out as part of that, I said, let
I
me
mean-
share a couple of these images now. To
Yeah.
From, you know, and it was, yes, it's quite, to be part of something like this, a production like this that is so, you know, it's amazing. It has the book, you know, Oz and the various different offshoots of this, whether it being the Wizard of Oz, or whether it being Wicked, whatever it might be, is all part of this huge sort of amazing sort of cult status. And you got to be part of that. I think it's pretty special. My parents, my friends were so excited. And
I'm
they
sure.
went, many people said, look, I'm going to go see this movie just because you're in it. I said, well, don't think.
Of course.
Do you know what you, but I said, it's no major role, you know, and you have to look carefully to see me. But they did spot me, honestly. It's quite something.
Of course. If someone very special or a good friend or someone from your family appearing in the movie, and a big movie, obviously, yeah. Yes.
And I did get to meet Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, who is just amazing.
How is she?
Beautiful. The two of them, Cynthia and Ariana,
Yeah.
very down to earth. Very down to earth. There
Very
were
good.
some other people there that, honestly, it was a full-on production in learning choreography on the spot.
Right.
So, and sometimes they would change the choreography on the spot also.
Oh.
So you have to be
Very
be
flexible,
on it.
yeah.
You have to be flexible. You have to be ready to. And of course, you know, when you're on a movie set, it's the long hours. So you have to have stamina and endurance to do that. But yes, but Ariana and Cynthia, I remember Ariana loved my glasses. And so there was one point on set where she said, I would love your glasses. Could I try it? I said, of course. I mean, either she's asked if she could try it, or I said, why don't you try them? I think it's probably, I said, why don't you try them on? And of course, then she tried them on, and the director was there, and there was some wonderful photos that were taken behind the scenes, which I would love to have had, but the director's one has those things. But you know what I mean? But they were so down to earth. Honestly, great atmosphere on set. Great atmosphere.
That's unbelievable.
No prima donnas at all.
That's good.
Yeah. So
That's good.
when you see both of them in interviews and how well they get on, it is exactly like that.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yes.
Curator, actor, what's next?
Oh, God. What is next? That's a good question. Do you know what I'm so honored just to be in a space by which I'm able to exercise my own creative interest, outputs, and simultaneously support causes that could do with the sort of leverage that I could offer, both as creative resilience as a single entity, but with that also the wonderful partnerships and individuals that help to make Creative Resilience International a thrive and impactful.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other areas, other spaces that I occupy too. So I think I'm just open to see what will happen. I honestly just open to see what will happen. I could never say that. I can't say that I have some big ambition for Creative Resilience International. I just know that where there is the opportunity to expand and amplify in partnership with, that's what I would do. Where there's an opportunity to be part of discussions and be part of the sort of decision-making process that will affect these communities, I would be readily available to do so.
I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, so that's what's next, really. I'm ready. I'm ready to be the instrument. I'm ready to be to be part of the conduit for something better. I'm ready to be the agent of good, positive change. I'm ready to do that. So whatever that may be, however that might manifest and I'm ready to do the work so it can be crystallized.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's really, really good. And that was actually my next question. What would you add to your next, your journey, actually? And you just said it.
Yes.
So whichever can be beneficial to everyone, you might be involved.
That's it. That's it. You know, I've had both my parents are very generous people, and they, they give, they give a lot, and community is very important to them. So I learned about all of that stuff from a very
So the community side is coming from your parents mostly then?
yes,
No,
yes,
okay.
yes. And then I used to be a diplomat also, and a senior diplomat.
Yeah.
And I've done so many different jobs, but the one of the common thread of all of that, all those different professional experiences I've had, has always involved how does it benefit people. So that's important to me.
And that is beautiful.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
I
Everything I
really-
do, even in relationships, there's an element of my relationships that where the person, my partner, has to understand that that a lot of work I do involves building communities, fortifying communities. That's very important to me.
I can tell it is.
Thank you.
I can tell it is, yes.
Thank you so much. So yeah, it gives me great joy.
Oh, that's really good. No, I'm really happy that you're just thriving and enjoying every single moment. It's really nice
Thank
to
you.
see.
And the word thriving is such a it's such a powerful word, isn't it? And again, as I can't reiterate enough that that creative I thrive, CRI thrive, and any project or platform that I'm affiliated with thrives because the support that is there. That's really it. It is not an individual thing at all. It takes a village, and I'm very honored to be part of any village that's doing the work. And honestly, and I've had, you to be here with you guys has just been amazing. And this is to expand the CRI village now into what
Thank
you
you.
with Wilder and this incredible podcast that you guys have.
Thank you
It's
so
amazing.
much.
So thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
What would you say? So before Creativity and International, 3 words that will describe you, Michael.
Aside from Creative Resilience International,
Just before, yeah.
just me,
As you.
okay.
You, just you.
Oh gosh, 3 words.
Yes.
Resilient,
Knew it.
optimistic. My God, just 3 words. Altruistic.
Very, very
Yes.
good. Yeah. And 3 words on how you describe yourself now since Creative Resilient International.
Those 3 words would certainly fall into those into that, but to give any sort of addition, since I have the opportunity to do so, is my goodness, tenacious.
Yeah.
Tenacious. Also, I would say solution oriented.
Very true.
Yes, and oh my goodness, and just industrious. I suppose that goes in being solution oriented, but just being industrious also, as part of fitting into whole sort of creative element in there. Yeah.
Oh, great. Michael, it was such a great pleasure to have you today.
Thank you.
Really had fun.
Thank you. And I had a lot of fun too.
And
I
yeah,
really did. I had a lot of fun. And I feel quite honored to be on your platform. And
Thank you.
and I'm so glad, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you
And
very much.
and what you guys are doing here at Wilder is just really amazing.
Thank
Honestly, And I look forward to us doing some amazing work together.
Looking forward to it as well.
Yes, so thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to our beautiful audience for watching us today. And we see you very, very soon. Enjoy your Christmas.